Let's rock.
What up?
Gotta love that
going
intro,
on?
man. You gotta love that intro. Nothing gets me more fired up, bro. Makes me like want to learn an instrument, like the drums.
I thought that was slapping the bass,
Fire.
no?
Anything, dude. Anything. Like just, it's my bucket list. And yeah, something I'll tell you about me is like I love musical instruments and I can't play a damn one of them. And I literally have 3 guitars to the left of me, a piano in the other room, and I would love to have more. And I may accumulate some more. And I have like made it a mission this year, and I'm like, you know, like you make yourself a promise and you're like, I'm going to commit to this. I got to do it. I got to do it. Like I've been wanting to get on the piano and practice nearly like every night. And my wife can play pretty decently well. And I told her, I'm like, you got to teach me. You got to get me started, you know? And like every night I go to bed and I tell myself, damn, like I didn't practice today. I didn't practice at all. And I'm like mad at myself for it. And that's
Talking
that's the
about
level
HVAC
of,
too much. That's why.
yeah, I know. Like that's the level of commitment I am to this instrument. Like I want this bad. And so gotta make time for it.
Yep.
So, you know,
Gotta make it a
efficiency of
habit.
time. Maybe maybe that's where the title comes from. Efficiency.
Yeah. Efficiency of time is a big thing. I mean, that's, you know,
Yeah.
if there's so many different kinds of efficiency out there, it's not even funny, right?
Yep. So, man, we got a lot to talk about.
It's a big show tonight. Big show.
It's a big show.
Big show.
Yeah. So there is some technical talk I want to get into though.
Let's do it.
But
Yeah.
you want to go
Big home
technical
performance
first?
Job.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So tonight's topic is about efficiency, and efficiency like you've never heard it before, right? And I this is probably going to go in a bunch of radical different directions. Like
We do that,
like,
right?
I
Eric?
feel
We
like
do
I
that.
need a little stuffed rabbit over here just to hop across the screen every
Yeah.
time. Every time we start this show.
for sure.
That should be our mascot is a little rabbit diving down a hole.
Yep.
HVAC rabbit hole.
Yeah. That's a good. I like that. I like that name.
That's a good name for a band right there. HVAC rabbit hole.
All right. So
hit the pocket really good.
I'm gonna get a little technical about something that's recently came up at work that we were chatting about, and it was kind of like an eye opener for me. I was like, "Whoa, never thought about it from that angle before." And so I'm a deep dive here. You ready? So, if you have never watched some of the TEC webinars I've done, there was one webinar where I talk about grills. Right? We tested some 6x12
for the teeth grills.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Nah, man, come on. That ain't HVAC related. So there's a webinar, and it still lives out there on the TEC channel if you want to go watch it. Actually, it's on the HVACairflow.com website that we host that has just a bunch of array of content that we've put together. There's a button there called webinars. You can go watch webinars. Anyway, there's a webinar about grills and boots and registers and stuff like that. So in that webinar and through that testing we did in the lab, what was really interesting was the difference in throw versus pressure drop across these grills. And I'm going to sum all that up in like one word and call it efficiency.
I don't know, bro.
Right?
I put
That's not it.
TEC, and it says grills. He's pointing at his grills.
That's
You
our
see this,
mascot,
Eric?
dude.
He's just pointing.
Look at that, man. It is a grill.
So is there a separate
We need to,
So what's
energy
the efficiency?
conservatory?
What's the efficiency of a grill? Like, is that how sharp it is? How much it can chew the food, or how much bling it gives out.
All right,
to give
let's
people.
try again. Efficiency of the register.
Efficiency of the
Smartasses.
register. Okay.
So is that how close the buttons are? How fast somebody can ring you out at the register?
Oh Lord,
Oh, dad jokes. Dad jokes.
where's this
Dad
show
joke
going,
alert.
man? Where's this show going?
That's it. You just got Chris to quit.
All right, I'm done.
Oh shit.
I'll just sit here.
But what? Hold on. Let me backtrack. Now, TEC has a separate YouTube account, or you're saying the website?
TEC has a YouTube channel. The
Yep.
webinars are on the channel,
Okay.
but they're collectively organized very well on a website called HVAC. Shoot, what am I doing? Look,
Oh,
HVACairflow.com. It's literally on the shirt.
All right.
The reason we
trying
made
to-
it's the reason we made the shirt.
HVAC. Okay. All right. You're doing. Yeah. All right.
There you go.
Hold that shirt up. All right. Airflow. Okay.
Can you spell it? How many years
No.
you been in this game?
.com. Yeah. Hey. Got to know
All
the
right,
flow.
so
How do you spell HVAC?
oh. All right, so in that
All right.
webinar, we took like 100 CFM and we monitored the pressure drop across a 6x12 curved blade and a 6x12 stamp face supply grill.
I hate those
And
stand face grills, man.
at 100 CFM, the pressure drop on the curved blade was like 0.01, and on the stamp face it was 0.05. So the stamp face had 5 times more pressure drop, and the curved blade had more throw. So literally,
Right.
the design and make of the grill is more efficient. It's more effective of what it does with the air that crosses it. Right? It costs you
Even
less.
though one is rated for, let's say, just 100 CFM, and the other one's 100
Well,
CFM.
Grills are
That's
rated for
crazy.
a bunch of different flows, right? Like they can.
Yeah.
There's a range, and you get different pressure drops at different flows. Eric, why are you telling me with that weird smile, man?
So
I could-
I just
I could
had an
see it.
epiphany.
I can see it through that mustache.
I
Like,
had
you
an epiphany.
can't hide
I
it.
had an epiphany. I'm sitting here listening to this, right? You just
Oh.
said you wanted to learn like all, musical instruments, right?
Yeah.
But your job is playing with registers and grills. Now, have you ever heard a register or a grill sing?
Yeah.
Like it makes that noise, right? And you lay your hand up against it or whatever, and it stops. Especially those stamp-faced one, especially return grills, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Return air stamp face grills will sing. Yeah.
Well, you can make them sing like crazy. So I think what you ought to do is figure out how to make something to play different tunes with stamp-faced grills
Oh my gosh.
and determine how much airflow it takes
Bro.
to make what tune
This
or what
camera.
tone on stamp-faced grills. I think
Yeah.
this is the perfect meld of musical and airflow. We found
Dude, it'd be the
Chris's
first
calling in life.
HVAC instrument. A bunch of
Oh,
grills.
that's what
You
I
just
heard.
hit airflow like ECM blowers on each note. Like, bro, I love it. I love it. The first
Wait,
HVAC,
can you do that again? That was pretty
Yeah.
good.
like with the aliens, and what was that movie? We come
I don't
in
know.
peace.
Oh my goodness. Yep,
Yep.
I think we found Chris's
great
new
idea.
thing. It's what
That's a great idea.
I create a new instrument, guys.
We got a new
First HVAC
instrument
musical
brought to you
instrument.
by the Energy Conservatory Band.
Bro.
Can I join this band? I want to play the spoons.
Next level, man. Next level. Now, I will
I
say
think-
there's a lot of musical talent inside the Energy Conservatory. If you don't know that,
there it
Yes,
there's a lot
the
of
rap.
talent there. There's a Gary who plays the brass. I think Colin plays the bass. Bill, I'm not sure what Bill plays. I think he plays just straight guitar.
now.
But,
So like in case nobody's ever heard, because there's a lot of HVAC people on here, but there's the other thing like Chris and I participate which is the building performance industry side of the world. And they have is it called the Building Performance Band
I think that's what it's
or
called.
the Building Science Band or something like
Building
that?
Science
Something like
band?
that. Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. They even have their own song.
Dude, that is.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys,
They
you guys
have a-
messing with me?
And they
No.
that's serious. And they perform at events and stuff. Yeah.
It's called the Building Science Boogie Band, and they have their
Yeah.
own YouTube channel.
What?
Yeah,
What?
they got
I
that.
just heard of this.
Building Science Boogie Band.
I feel like you guys are still messing with me.
No,
this is super legit.
this is a
super
thing.
legit. It's
Dude,
very
then
much
we
a thing.
need to build the instrument.
Okay.
If you build it, they will come. If
All
you
right.
build it, we will get monetized on this channel now.
So
We
as
still
we're
haven't
talking,
hit the watch time.
so did I cover the reason why, like the reason that grills are more efficient? And it's strictly like the grill's not changing. The grill's just
Right.
stationary, right? It's a stationary item, and it just performs better than another grill based on its design alone. Nothing. You move airflow through a fixed device, and it does a better job of pressure drop and throw than the grill next to it, right? That is efficiency, and that
Dude.
saves power,
Those
right?
curved,
That's
those
less
curved
watt
blades
draw.
are just way better looking too.
Eric, what'd you pull up?
There-
Did you-
I'm showing Mike right here.
Oh, look. there-
Whoa!
Yeah, dude, building science boogie band.
Right
For
there,
those who
man.
don't know, we probably
All
just
over
got
YouTube.
like
I
10
feel
more
like-
followers. How
I
about
feel like
that?
this whole episode is about just Tosh Point, like doing like the whole thing, like aha, we got Mike at the end. This whole fake page you guys just showed me, like what was that, Ashton Kutcher and like the gotcha, I gotcha.
All right.
What was that?
So tech
Punked?
talk. Ready? So let's go down another rabbit hole.
Dude, I'm still liking this stamp grill stuff. I mean, we should just
Well, that
veto to get rid of
It's
stamp grills.
over now, bro. It's over.
So
You got everything you got out of it
Sorry.
right there. We're done. We're done with that. We're moving on. It gets better though,
I'm bringing it up later.
and I don't exactly have the answer to this one, but I want to know. I got to find the right people. So I'm expecting some killer good chatter here, but let's talk about a motor for a second,
Mhm.
right? And fan curve charts and wall controllers that spit out flow onside the wall controller and that whole world, right? There's like those flow. I'm gonna call them flow estimates. Okay. And the reason I'm gonna call them a flow estimate is because I'm gonna take you down a rabbit hole, and I don't know if I have the answer to. So you have a motor, and a motor gets built, and then they put an algorithm in that motor. Let's just call it a constant volume motor. And this motor needs to like carry the same airflow nonstop, right? That's the idea of constant volume from like 0.2 to 0.8 or whatever the range they decide to build into the algorithm gives the same flow, supposed to. All right, we're going to take a pause. Eric, go ahead.
I'm going to call that a constant airflow motor. I don't like to call it a constant volume because
Why not?
Well, because what it really moves is pounds of air.
Oh, it doesn't use cubic
Well,
whatever, right?
remember, as air density changes,
So,
the
yeah.
volume changes, but the weight can stay the same. So it's a constant airflow motor, not a constant volume motor.
Well, then maybe the right answer would be constant mass flow motor.
That would be a
Because I
like
better.
that.
So wouldn't airflow also change with density?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about air, because it's just a constant airflow.
Maybe
at
we
whatever
need the
density
exact
that is.
definition. Somebody Google the definition of airflow.
Right?
So
I hear your
constant
point.
mass
I hear your
flow.
point.
I could do that.
You're absolutely right. We should make sure we explain that for the listeners, right? The motor is running off, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's running off of torque and RPMs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
and
on,
it's looking.
on
looking
train,
like that.
you could change it on the CDA and then the newer units. You could do torque or you could do mass airflow.
So those motors are looking, when you have the constant airflow motors, constant mass airflow, if you want to call it that, they actually get feedback. So when you look at, say, a PSC motor, right, and you measure voltage across the capacitor, what are you reading? What are you reading there?
Voltage across the capacitor?
Yeah,
Drop.
The back EMF, you mean?
Vacuum.
right. Back EMF. So that's actually energy that motor is creating, because it's going to normally higher
So
than
you
your
can
input
calculate
voltage,
that
right?
because that's a constant
So
if you know
on
the motor.
on the ECMs, remember they're a 3-phase motor because they have 3 equal windings in the actual motor. And
Right.
when the input, one of the input phases gets to 0, they can get a signal back out of that motor back into the electronics at that split second that the one phase. So they look at that, whatever phase is at 0 volts to see what's coming back out of that. And that's how they get some of their signal back into it. But they can also see like what the input is and things like that. So they can look at what's being fed back to it.
Yeah, they're reacting on what has happened.
Right.
Yeah.
On the ECM is a lot more information.
It's a
Well,
Really-
hold on. We got to talk about ECM though, because ECM. When I hear the word ECM, that I look at that as more like a generic term because you could have,
Electronic commutating motor.
electronically
is.
commutated motor.
but you could have a
commutated
constant torque motor, and could have a constant mass airflow motor, and they both be called an ECM.
And you can also have a constant
true.
RPM motor.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's
There's
like
3 types of ECMs. ECM is just how the actual physical motor itself works.
Yeah.
The electronics package that you attach to that
Mm.
determines how that motor reacts to different things.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
All right.
All right.
So,
So for residential, we're going to be X13 or
we
yeah,
can't
it's
say
going to be
X13.
vague. It's going to be
X13 is a
ECM.
brand. That's
It's
a
got-
constant torque motor.
Constant
I
torque.
would say PSC, constant torque,
Yep.
constant mass airflow.
Constant mass airflow. Yeah.
Right. That's your
It-
3 motors.
And constant RPM, which is
Constant
used in a
RPM?
condenser fan motor.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh.
constant RPM is your ECM condenser fan motors.
Okay.
Constant RPM.
Yeah, like on a Ream has them a lot. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
pretty much any of your higher end stuff, and it's they're starting to float down because
Yep.
the thing is they're a more efficient motor.
Constant RPM because I wanted to throw my flow hood on a condenser this week just for giggles, and Chris pulled it up. It's like way too much for my Alnor. I'm gonna need
Yeah.
to like.
Yeah, it's
I'm
which
gonna
is
put-
which
yeah.
is it's a fun discussion to have though. Like, 'cause
I mean,
I wasn't.
condenser airflow is more like 600 to 700 CFM per ton.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah.
And he shot me a link. It was like 2,000 on some units.
Well,
Well,
for the total
On
unit,
what
yeah.
size unit though?
Yep.
That's
right.
what I'm saying. 600 to 700 per ton is condenser airflow.
Well,
So-
Eric, that's why I wanted to do a video because nobody's doing it.
Yeah, so we pulled up a FSEC, Florida Solar Energy Conservation. They
they-
had
Mhm.
it right
Oh
up
my
condenser
God.
and motor flows. So if
Yeah.
anybody's curious to know, pretty sound document.
Yeah.
If
I like
if
it.
you look in, there's a few companies out there that actually publish their condenser fan airflows in their condenser data,
Yeah. Very few.
which
yeah.
you'll see that. I mean, it is a lot higher air. And yeah, it's Jason Johnson asked because of the low static the condenser fan sees. Well, couple of things.
I want to test for it.
One, it's a different style blade, right? And two,
Right.
yes, it should see a pretty constant static. It shouldn't change a whole lot. Right? It's going to change a little bit as it gets dirty, but that needs to be cleaned out again to get
Right.
that proper airflow across there. And we're not hooking duct work to that. Like that's
Right.
not what we do to outdoor units. That's why when you if somebody throws one of the decorative covers around the outside of it, it adds extra static to that, and that's going to change the airflow through that massively. It's basically
I like to put a screen around my condenser to keep the bugs off and the dust.
yeah, go ahead. Mike, where's your glasses tonight, dude? I just
Oh
it
yeah.
dawned on me like you don't have your glasses on.
It's
I got
weird,
some
yeah.
earlier. I got some bad news, so I was just I'm out of my mind.
Bad news.
Yeah, I'm just not in the right frame.
All right.
So, man, I had a thought. It just drifted from me. Hang on.
So we
But
were talking about.
So here's
yeah,
the other,
what were we talking
Let's-
about?
We got to stay on condenser fan motors for a second. I had one.
here's the other
Oh.
thing I wanted to throw
You know,
out about
Eric was
ECM.
making fun of us with rabbit holes, but he's the one that's pulling us into a bunch of holes.
What I
Here's the
wanted to see, what me and Mike were talking about on that day was, if speaking of efficiency, where you set the fan blade in reference to the Ventura shroud on the outdoor condenser, I would really love to see that flow capture happen and say, like, if you set
What do
it
you
too
think
low,
about
if you
that,
set it too
Eric?
high, how much do you impact how much the condenser airflow moves? That would be a fascinating measurement.
Especially on those old Goodmans, where if you put the pitch just, I
Well,
mean, you know,
what about the Yorks that had the plastic one that you bolt to the bottom and then it like the sun would beat it to death and before you know it, it'd break and people would just throw it away and the fan has no venturi and it's just running? I mean,
That's
how
what I-
how
that's what I
inefficient
meant.
you think that thing is?
So here's how I did it. Now I don't know if this is right, but I'll say how I did it when I was in the field. And I would go by feel. And that feel, I mean,
yeah.
lay my hand next to that fan right above that and see if it's kicking air off the end of it or if it's going
Right.
straight up.
Yep. I
Yep.
think
I would
we're
put
all taught
paper
the same
right
way.
there.
Now,
yeah, put
there's-
paper on a condenser coil, right?
there was a couple of them that would, you know, I call them helicopters or choppers because like they were just so loud because they had so little air intake. I think they were just using way too big of a fan on them, but they were just like, it was a,
They
you know,
were
like
not
a little
efficient.
12
not
or
efficient.
18,000 BTU unit.
Yeah.
And they were using way too big of a fan on it, but
Hey,
that was my assessment anyhow, but it would always throw air off the ends of that blade. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so yeah,
that's
on those
how I
older,
used-
you know,
That's
yeah.
how I used to determine, like if you know those carrier tripper rose coils, you know what I'm talking about with the,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the 06D that used to sit in the center.
uh-huh.
Those things, and they usually have two fans running at the same time. And I remember a school I used to go to had a whole bunch of these, and you could put your hand next to them. If that air is just pushing out the side, you knew you had to split that thing. It was
Right.
dirty.
Well, and then there's the ones that you couldn't split because they were just literally 3 rows deep and there was no splitting that. And oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Oh
what-
man, you're
Those are
jogging
the
my
ones-
memory.
Those
of
are the
a-
ones with the angled fans in them, right? They had that, you know, it had a vertical coil with an angled fan sitting against the back of it.
I'm thinking of a
3 or
different
4
unit.
of them.
There was a rooftop unit that I used to maintenance all the time, and this thing would get so freaking dirty because there was a hibachi place like downstream on the same rooftop. Yeah,
Get
and
that
it was one of
hibachi
the-
oil up there.
it was a Rheem rooftop package unit that had a super thick condenser coil that you couldn't split. It was on the face of it.
Mhm.
2 compressors, like a 10-ton package unit. And I'm telling you, man, I know I shouldn't be doing. I'm just gonna admit it. I used to throw coil cleaner, the blue kind, on that thing straight. I used to just chuka, and
I'm
I
gonna
would watch
put him
it
on HVAC school. Blast it.
just watch it boil out, man. And I'd go to hose and the black would just pour out of that thing. But it was like,
Why do my hands feel so oily from that coil cleaner? Oh,
Because
man.
all the
Yeah.
skin is falling off your
Oh,
hands.
because my skin is just frothing
Well,
off.
was at least it was on a standing seam metal roof, so I was not too worried about like corroding O-rings or nothing like that.
I feel for the guys. I feel for the guys with these new roofs.
I would wash it all the way down though. I was at least nice enough to wash all that coil cleaner to the end of the roof and get
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
So,
we were talking about motors. What
I
happened?
want to
with
say one more
motors?
thing about ECMs too, because we're talking about efficiency, right?
Yeah.
so-
Efficiency. That's right.
If you look at PSCs, right, and you can tap a PSC that are speed taps, right?
yeah.
Well,
Why did you give it the?
Yeah, what's
Oh shoot! The camera's doing it again.
speed taps? Okay, so those speed taps only slow down when that motor is loaded. If that motor's unloaded, it doesn't matter which speed tap you put it on. Those are realistically torque taps.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because, dude, I changed the speed tap on a motor and it went down like 100 CFM. I'm like, bro.
Well, if it's not under, like what Eric said, if it's not under stress, then it's
Yeah.
So it's not
like,
actually a
yeah.
speed tap in the RPM in
It's a
the
Jamoke- it's a
unloaded
Jamoke
RPM.
tap.
It's a torque tap. It reduces the torque of the motor, but it also reduces the efficiency of the motor.
yeah.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So PSC motors don't carry a constant efficiency. The lower on those tap speeds, or the lower the torque, the lower efficiency they get.
wow.
One of the big differences with like an ECM is they have what's called a permanent magnet rotor on the inside.
Yeah, I love taking those apart.
So whereas a PSC, that rotor is not magnetized. It has to have that magnetism. It's an induction motor. So the magnetism in the rotor is induced from the stator.
Right.
So because of that permanent magnet rotor on an ECM, they are more efficient across the board. Like they keep that really
Just
high of 80 to 85% efficiency.
Same thing.
Even
A, B,
at
and
low
C.
speeds.
Right.
The difference is, and here's the challenge, not only do you have to have a true RMS meter to measure that, but you have to measure it in watts. And you have to have a watt meter that measures power factor, because if you just do your amps and your volts
You're
and
missing.
try to use Ohm's law, you are
Okay.
going to look like you're way high on electrical usage. But if
Okay.
you use the power factor and a wattage meter to measure the wattage, which is what your electric meter cares about, you're going to see that there's a lot less energy usage on those motors. Amperage is not all that it's cracked up to be until you have
Wow.
power
So-
factor and you start calculating watts.
So amperage is old school, guys. All right. That's
Amperage works great. It works
For
great
PSC.
for resistive loads or any motors running above a 0.9 power factor,
okay.
right? Because then you're kind of in that range. You start dropping down, like, I've seen motors running 0.6, 0.5 power factors, right? At that point, you got to do watts and you got to throw the power factor into your calculation to be able to calculate that correctly. And I
Okay.
think HVAC school's got a great tech tip on power factor and how to use it properly. But there's a couple meters out there that have
So what type
power
of
factor
meter is
built
good
into
for
them.
that?
It's got to be a watt meter, and
It's got to be a watt meter. Okay.
it's got to be a watt meter, which means you're reading
So
voltage
testo and fuel piece.
voltage and amperage simultaneously.
You can't
Okay.
ask the tool man that question, man. He's got people watching.
Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry, dude. I put you on the spot. Yeah.
I can
decline-
I
just
can-
say
I can say it. He can't say it. I can say it for him.
Yeah.
There's like
You have
three
the
manu-
redfish, the Subco redfish meter will read with power factor. The Amprobe one will do it. Does Philpiece do?
Philpiece has
yeah.
two that will do it,
Okay.
and
From,
Testo's
from what Eric's heard, there's two.
Testo's got one coming back that'll do it. The 770-3 is coming. They're reintroducing that.
And Jim Bergman's got one, right?
And that'll do that. That's the redfish.
Yeah,
that
he's
will-
tied to the redfish meter.
yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
Those are the-
Sorry to
those
put
are
you on
the
spot like that.
four that we really have right now, or actually, I guess. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the question that
Subco,
everybody gives me.
Amprobe,
So what's
two
coming,
field
Eric?
pieces.
What's coming next?
What's coming next?
Welcome to my life, bro. Hey, what do you guys? What's coming out next month? What are you guys working on?
Yeah. What are you guys
Huh?
doing?
What are you guys
Yeah.
doing? What do you mean you can't tell me?
Can I buy stock in that? Can I,
My
can
man
I
won't want.
put that on my Nancy Pelosi stock list?
You know
Which
how many
X Tech,
calls?
Jason? Which X Tech do you have? I must not be familiar with that one. Kind of curious now.
Yeah. All right.
Is there
So,
some-
So where were you going, Chris, on this? You were talking about motors.
so I'm
lost
talking about. Here's where I'm headed. I'll just come out and say it. I'm talking about cabinet efficiency. So here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know. A motor gets made by the motor manufacturer. They
Mhm.
program it. The equipment manufacturer says, "Hey, these are the flows we want." They
Right.
put an algorithm in this motor. Now they're not putting it in anything. They just kind of they may test it at their lab, but it's in their laboratory conditions. But when you take that motor now and then you go put it in an air conditioning specific cabinet, let's just say it's in an air handler with a coil behind it, and who knows what the opening looks like on this specific brand. Same motor, maybe a different algorithm gets put in many other brands, right? What is the cabinet efficiency?
Well,
Right?
now,
Meaning, what is
each-
the flow going to be with that same motor in those different brands? And the big
I'm
question
glad you
is,
brought
is-
this up because I did a warranty motor on a 1-year-old unit. I ohmed out the three, like it's got three wires coming off of that. Like you said, Eric, it's got magnets on the stator, right? Am I saying this right? It's an ECM, so it's magnets on the stator. So I'm
On the
measuring
rotor.
on the rotor.
Yeah.
And then the stator is all the windings. So different ohms, very close. It might have been 10. This was like 11.2 on each. I'm assuming it's like a three-phase.
It's a three-phase motor. Three
Three-phase.
equal windings.
I'm glad you brought this up, Chris. Is it going to be? I ran a TrueFlow grid before the motor blew, and I was like, man, I should run another TrueFlow grid.
Well, my questioning, and I'm not saying I have the answer to it, right? Because I don't have tons of money to throw at this. But
I have no idea what you're saying with cabinet efficiency, though.
well, that's why I brought the grill story up first, right? Now take yourself back to the discussion where we had a curved blade grill that way outperforms a stamp-based grill, all based on how it looks and it's shaped. It doesn't move.
Gotcha.
And it takes less pressure drop to get way more performance. So if that stands true for the grills,
should stand true for the
it
cabinet.
should stand true for the cabinet as well. Which
So
means if you
listen,
take
everybody, take silver tape, guys, and line up the whole air handler. Make it nice and slick.
So let's talk about what you're thinking here, Chris, with this. So one I want to say that the motor manufacturers don't pick the torque curves that get put in the motor. That's actually the equipment manufacturers that get to put that.
Right.
Okay. That
Yeah,
makes
they
sense.
specify what they want.
Right.
I want this. Make this motor. Right.
But do you think the equipment manufacturers are putting the motor in the equipment and then sending that equipment with every match and make at every airflow and having it tested across the board?
Oh,
That's a lot.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You think so?
Hell
I
no.
don't know.
Hell no.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've never
I don't
asked,
know
I've
either.
never
I've
asked
never-
that question before.
I've never
No
asked that
stinking
question.
way.
I never asked because I didn't know what to ask. But now I know what to ask. And I'm like, and that's the question. When you put the motor in the equipment, do you send it to the lab? Do you test it at every single flow to build a fan curve chart? And do you do that for every single matchup that you produce with that piece of equipment? Or do you benchmark it at, say, 0.5, the test pressure, and extrapolate based off the curve built from the algorithm? I don't know. That's the question.
I feel like Angry Ed knows this.
I don't know.
I think he's got
I don't know if we're gonna get
a
this
cousin.
answer.
A cousin.
I want this answer.
Yeah.
I want this
think
answer.
He's got a cousin in the industry that
So,
feeds him information on the down low.
So this is what I would say to follow that up. I think this is what drove people to being so hell bent on making sure you have a volumetric airflow measurement in the field.
Oh, okay.
Now, does it you know what I'm saying? Does it
Right.
make sense?
You're backing it up, right? Okay.
You got to back it up with something. And and
Right.
who are you going to get this answer from somebody? And if the answer is no, then what do? You have
Right.
third party test some kind of way to be able to prove yourself out.
Yeah. You got Eric thinking. Look at him. He's like,
And I
Deep-
and there's
deep
and
thought.
there's you and I'm gonna tell you, since I've took this job, there's been so many comments about like, hey man, the true flow and the fan curve chart isn't adding up. And I'm like, dude, I've seen what the true flow has been put against. Like I've seen it on the
Right.
chamber. I've seen it in every freaking weird configuration you could produce. I've been on jobs where I've did pressure matching with it just to prove like,
right.
I mean, we've proved like it's been proven, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all the tool does. Which makes me think, man, these fan curve charts I think have to be extrapolated
Right.
based off a one single set point and an extrapolation from that.
Well,
based
think
off
about
the
it.
algorithm.
Like
That's what I'm thinking is
big-
happening. But
I'm
but
a
I
big
don't want to.
manufacturer, right? And I go,
Yeah, you probably hate me
these
right
guys
now.
aren't gonna test. Just roll it out, bro.
I mean, but here's the thing. It's maybe they feel that like they don't need to be that freaking accurate. I don't know, man.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have to be. You got
I'm not
three
trying to
speed
burn.
taps.
I'm not trying to like burn bridges here, but like, it just. I think I want the answer to that question.
Well, listen, you can't take a 1.5 ton, a 2 ton, 3 ton, 4 ton, 5 ton, and throw different motors and test.
The
That
testing would,
bro, that
yeah.
would be insane.
Yeah, I guess, and true. And here's what I'm saying to back it up. Could you imagine what they'd have to spend to test all that? That's some
And if they
freaking
did,
money, bro. Like,
Come
that's
on the show. Let's hear about it.
yeah.
Well,
like, I'm
here-
gonna give them an out because let's be honest, man. You nailed it, dude. You got all the different tonnages,
Yeah.
all the different matchups, and all the different flows. I mean, you'd have one freaking system sitting on a lab for like a week.
And Train has the Hyperion cabinet, so you would have to do it for those 3.
Yeah,
And that's a smooth cabinet, right?
yeah.
Should be more efficient.
I think the testing would be so obscene that it would cost a fortune.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, and Chris, you know this from looking at airflow. Once you have a couple data points, you
Right.
can extrapolate a lot of things off those data points, or
good.
interpolate.
Interpolate, yes.
Yeah.
You can interpolate a lot of
Extrapolate.
things. If you
Yeah.
test at both ends, you can interpolate a lot of things in the middle.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I think
I
so.
don't know, like, are they measuring like one cabinet and, then they put in the coil or the heat exchanger, depending on whether it's a furnace or an air handler.
Right.
And then are they doing the calculations off of that based on like, okay, we're putting this much power,
Yeah.
are they using, there's a lot of rules for airflow, your fan laws. And
dude,
things
I'm
like
an
that.
air
You
handler.
can do a lot of
man,
good,
so I'm
good solid
thinking that
calculations.
way. But like he brought it up, man. I mean, gas, it's got to be all over the place. Wild Wild West with that fan. The fan.
Why? Why?
Well, no. Yeah, I guess I am off. Yeah, I'm not a gas guy. You're right.
Yeah,
Because they keep it out of the equation. That's right.
No,
they keep it out of
anyway.
the equation.
Anyway, that's my efficiency spill for tonight. I wanted to drive that home and hopefully somebody private messaging me with an answer. That happens from time to time, by the way, which I enjoy that to the hell of back. So if you're out there and you want to send me an anonymous text, I'd love it.
Anonymous text. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't test for it. Yeah.
Don't repeat this, but
Yeah.
I could keep secrets. I can keep secrets.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you could, I mean, seriously, right? They could just put something in the comment on the video.
Yeah.
Anonymous.
You could do that too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, look what
We
happened
got
to
we got no hackers
WikiLeaks,
working here.
WikiLeaks went fine.
Yeah. Right.
I'm going to do a HVAC WikiLeaks account coming up here soon in a couple of weeks. You can divulge all
I
the
like
insider
that.
information.
Man,
Okay.
I like the idea of that. I really
And
do.
I don't want to go to jail.
I would be all for that.
I am not Julian Assange, okay?
We take it to Rumble. That way we can.
Yeah, yeah, in about 5 minutes, we're going to Rumble, guys. Catch us on Rumble for all the real good secrets.
Yeah, the show. We're catch us for the overtime.
Yeah.
over on Rumble.
Yeah, that's where we could drop the F-bombs.
All right.
But in all
wrong with
seriousness,
you two?
I want to talk about the grills again. Sorry.
What do you want to know?
I mean,
Go-
that
go-
blows my
go
mind.
watch-
So you're telling
Go
me,
watch the webinar.
he's like, go watch. Here, catch a link in the description below. Give it a thumbs up. I'm
No,
just going to do that.
What
That's
do you,
fine.
What do you want to know?
I don't know, kind of pisses me off.
Well,
what?
You got
what I
one
would say,
grill
though.
at 100 CFM, another one at 100 CFM, and both of them have different static on.
Of course they do. I mean, that's the whole point
That's the
of
whole point of-
the manufacturer's data on grills. That's what
right, man.
that's what you do a manual T for.
That's ridiculous, though. I mean,
So
it just doesn't make sense.
Do
to
they
me.
cost the same? Do those two
No.
grills cost the same?
What's the difference on a curved blade
pay
compared to
for
a stamp?
performance. You got to pay.
Dude, everybody that has stamp grills, I'm just going to offer on every job to replace all the grills.
Well, no, I wouldn't necessarily do that because
Ooh.
this is a twofold problem.
Manual
Okay.
T, baby. Manual
Yeah.
T.
This
I
is
haven't bought the
it's-
book. I
it's
was
not
trying to
wrong.
rub elbows with Angry Ed and get a free book from him.
Brought
not
to you by the
necessarily-
letter T.
And I'll tell you the reason I went down this rabbit hole is
That was
because
a
I
good
have some stamp based registers in my house, and I was kind of like, man, how bad did these suck, right? And I wanted to know. And
Yeah,
so I was
I,
like, well,
I
crap,
got them. I
is
hate
it,
them.
is
Well,
it worth upgrading? And I
I
wanted
mean-
to know.
Here's the thing. Do they have the right throw? Do they have the right spread for the room? And are they placed in the proper location in the room to
Yeah.
utilize the throw and spread that they have?
And are they not eating up resistance against your blower?
Well,
Right.
but that's part of design. So that's why you do a manual T before you do a manual D.
Right. But pressure, yeah, and that's the whole point of knowing the pressure drop of those grills, so you can apply it in your friction rate worksheet to know if it's going to bust you out or not.
Correct. And that's
And-
the whole point of doing that manual T is to get those grills and registers in the right place in the room to get proper air distribution in the room. So then you can design the ductwork to connect the equipment and the registers.
But I will tell you from my study, I'm okay in my situation. I have the static resistance in check. I have an 8-foot ceiling house, so throw needs to be minimal, right? Like they're spread in the right spot. So,
Right.
Is there pressure drop? Yeah. Is it like making my blower motor ramp up with tons more wattage? No. Okay. So they
Then
live.
there's no need to replace it.
There's no need to replace
Okay.
them. And that's the question I had and I was seeking. And
Okay.
so, but there is a solid benefit to a curved blade register. You can get less pressure drop and more throw.
And
But
way,
is
way
it-
more throw.
But
Yes.
is it throw where you want it to go?
Yeah,
Well,
it
that-
throws like
that-
a damn freaking baseball player.
That would
90
be the
miles an
debate.
hour.
But I'm saying in a situation where you need throw, a curved blade registers is absolutely the way you want to go.
Those
But
those
as
stamp
long-
face, I hate them.
As long as it puts it where you want it to go. That's my point.
Yep.
Yep.
You always got it. You got a good point.
You got to make sure that it's going where you want it to go, because otherwise, if it's
Absolutely.
putting the where you don't want it to go, why are you putting it in?
Well, you got to just decide where you want to put the box. I mean, that could be subjective. You can put the
Well,
box
yeah,
where
Because
room
you may move that register box based on your grill selection,
yes.
because you need to locate that register box in a location where the grill is going to be able to do the job that you want it to do.
Guys, I just want to say, I don't even think we have to worry about it because everybody's already on top of this.
I think so. There's
I'm
nobody.
changing all my grills out tomorrow.
I'm
For
pretty
what?
sure everybody's doing manual
Curve.
Ts.
I'm going
Oh,
with some nice
100%.
hot and coolies.
I mean, clearly Mike's the only one in the country that doesn't have a manual T.
I mean, Mike, what are you doing, bro?
I ain't doing manual T.
Get on board, bro. Get on
I
board.
don't even have the book, man. I got to get the book.
You better order that book. You need to order that book and read that book before you replace your registers.
I'll tell you what, Mike, it's a good read. It really is.
Yeah.
Anybody out there listening, if you haven't read Manual T, I've said this somewhere else before. I'd read Manual T first before I read any of the other manuals. I enjoyed it. It
I
was
don't know,
small. It was informational. It was like, it's not like reading a children's book, but it's just like it's not
It's
as
short.
like
Yeah,
it's like I
short.
didn't feel like I needed to pop an Adderall to get through it. You know what I mean? Like it just was like
Not like the rest of the manuals.
yes.
Hey, honey, what do you got in this medicine cabinet?
Yeah.
But dude,
Very
like
well.
I'm still working on Allison Bale's book, and I still got to read Brian Orr's book, man. You know, I got it.
I read Brian's book. It
I got to read it.
was good.
I use Allison Bale's book as like a reference. I'll go. Let me go back to the reference manual.
Yeah. Some books, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Having it on the
Because
shelf.
I was
is
working on
cool.
that home
You need it.
performance one. I was telling you about. I was doing a duct leakage blower door through the Alnor. I was like, "What is Allison talking about with like duct leakage?" Because I sent you that report. It was pretty crazy. It was like 120 CFM of leakage to outside. Well, 100 to 120.
Yeah,
I didn't verify it. So, but dude, it ran for like 3-4 hours when I was there, and
All right.
it was oversized. So
15 minutes left of the show.
this damn camera. This camera is not for Italians. Let me tell you something. All right,
Why not?
do
Maybe-
not get the 360 Insta 360 if you're an Italian. All right,
Maybe it's the glasses, bro. Maybe it's the reflection.
No, it's
of
my
the
hand
glasses.
movement. Every time
It goes like
I'm,
this,
I'm like
and
this,
the camera's
yeah.
like, ooh.
See? And my camera moves.
Those
And then
glasses
if
are
I
nice,
do
though.
if I do this, it says whiteboard mode. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. You know, I got the from the symposium, I got the, could be whiteboard mode. It follows the whiteboard. It's crazy. I love it. But anyway, I digress.
I hear you.
Yeah, if you're an Italian, do not get this. Yeah, that was the Dillhard. I still got it on there. That's what, a DQ right through the air handler. Cut the air handler in half.
Yeah. Do it. All right, guys. We are
Five left on there.
Oh, hey, there's a good question for you, Chris. That would be FlowGrid Gen 1 is my guess.
Yeah.
Oh, the old
Yeah.
one with the tubes.
Good question. So there is a original TrueFlow called we now call it the Legacy TrueFlow. It's see-through, it's clear. That can work with the DG700 gauge. The DG700 does not have Bluetooth. So yeah, that's the old school one. But it still works too. So if you got it, hammer down.
You still have parts for that thing?
So the DG700, if it can be fixed, we will fix it if we can get the parts for it. Some parts we can get, some parts we cannot get.
Steve
And-
Rogers makes them in his kitchen.
So I will tell you this much information. The guy who repairs all of our gauges, awesome guy, by the way, he says if you open up the back of your DG700 and your batteries have exploded and there's leakage and it's gotten like below the battery cabinet area, he goes, there's a good chance it's done for. Which, interestingly enough, this guy's been like, he's recalibrated freaking bukus of gauges. So he knows a lot about batteries at this point in life, which ones leak, which ones don't. He tells me, he's like, you know what the worst battery in the world is? He's like, Duracell. He goes, a Duracell's going to leak. Yep. He goes, Duracells leak, man. He goes, I've seen more Duracell batteries leak than anything. And I want to say he said,
Dude, I killed some field piece probes like that, man, with the acid leakage.
I mean,
I
don't
reached out
take
to
my
Jim
word
Bergen.
for it. Don't take my word for it, but this is speaking from a guy who's opened up the back of probably thousands of gauges with various batteries, and he has a good track record, right? And
I'll
Duracells have
agree
been
with him on
notorious.
that. The only good thing about Duracells, some of them, and I don't know if they're still doing it, they used to have a guarantee on them.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And like if it damaged your tool, they would replace it.
Didn't you have something replaced one time because of
Yeah,
that?
they
You
replaced
told me that
a
story.
they replaced a pulley alignment, laser alignment tool that I had that it destroyed. It was $1,000 tool, and they sent me a check
that's-
for it.
Right? I
It's
take
like-
all my batteries out of all my stuff if I don't use them weekly.
I do too.
Now, I can't remember the battery we were
Nobody
originally
got time
putting
for
in the DG700, but I thought he said Toshiba was the battery that.
Toshiba,
hang on.
Yeah.
I have a DG700. I might have the original battery.
You got a 700? Golly. I'll put that
Oh,
on
yeah, he
Facebook Marketplace like tomorrow, bro. Bam.
You can't sell it. It's a company tool.
Sell it, baby. Imagine that going to the TEC like, oh, what are you guys doing with this? All right, I can put this on eBay.
Okay, so this is a DG700 for anybody who doesn't know.
My goodness, look at
and
that.
this-
That looks like a Game Boy.
Panasonic batteries.
Panasonic.
That's it's apparently so TEC did a bunch of research into batteries about what's the best batteries to stick in the back of a gauge, and apparently the Panasonic batteries they found were like the best and most bulletproof batteries.
Huh.
Isn't that something?
Nice.
So it's a random factoid for you.
Dude, it's important, man. I mean, when you
Yeah.
have a
Yeah,
tool
you don't want your- you
blow
don't-
up,
Yeah,
Are
you don't
those
wanna lose your gauge.
the Panasonic NiCad batteries, or do they use the something else? Because Panasonic, I think, makes two different
I don't
batteries.
know, bro.
I'm
This
curious
is before
now.
my time.
yeah, come on, Eric. That's a really specific question. But listen, Jim Bergman told me, he said, do not take one battery that's been used and mix it. That's
Oh,
what
no.
causes it
to
it
overheat.
makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And then he said something about you can use lithium ion, but he's like, it really doesn't. The main thing is not using a used battery, fresh, because the Fieldpiece probes use 2 AAAs.
What did
Unless
you
they
wanna know,
use like
Eric?
an old battery.
Are they
This is
NiCads or are they like something
It
else?
says industrial alkaline.
Oh,
Alkaline.
alkaline, yeah,
Alkaline.
Okay.
that's right. Because there's NiCad, alkaline, and
You know what?
we
I'm
just-
going to take
just
these
got
bad
lithium
boys out
ion.
of this thing while I'm thinking about it. You know
We
what I'm
just
saying?
got lithium, yeah.
Never
Wait,
can be
wasn't
too
it
careful.
one more?
Removed.
We just got lithium.
I'm gonna be
AA,
like
AAA.
everybody. I'm gonna be like everybody at our trade shows and be like, man, I still got my DG700. That thing's awesome.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yep.
That is crazy. But you guys are coming out with a new tool, right? What were you saying earlier?
No. What are you talking about, dude? Story of my life, bro. Story of my
Dude,
life.
he's so he's
I don't
so
know what you're
lip-locked.
talking about.
Yeah, he's like, I
Tell
don't
me
get-
about it.
So I will say, industry news. There is something that's gonna drop from us tomorrow.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
What time? What time?
First thing in the morning. So,
All right.
there. I don't know if you've caught it on social media, but there was like an announcement between us, PEC, Measure Quick, and the National Comfort Institute.
Oh, nice.
There's gonna be a
Eric
release.
knows already.
that
I can
happens.
see it in his face. I can see it. He knows. I know.
I've seen this stuff on social media. Is all I've seen. I
I'm the
honestly
only
don't.
guy-
I don't know.
I'm
I don't think.
guessing.
I don't know if Eric's in the know on this one.
Nope,
Are you?
I'm not.
You're not in the know,
I'm
are
not.
you?
No,
Eric's not.
I
I'm
in
in
the
the
can
dark
guess.
about everything.
I have
all
some
right.
really, just because I watch so many things and like I can put pieces together.
I'm just
Yeah.
happy to hang out with you
Like,
guys and be in the
But
dark.
I think it's going to be
That's fine.
cool. Whatever it is, it's going to be cool.
It'll be out. It'll be out first thing in the morning. That
All
much I
right.
can tell you. So
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. But it's going to be pretty interesting. You
Like, comment, and subscribe.
word.
I hear it so many times because I'm a YouTube watcher, so you know.
Like,
I know.
right.
That drives me nuts. By
Like,
the way,
comment, subscribe.
like when people like I don't know
Bleh.
when people are like drive it down your throat. It gets on my nerves.
You know what's
You
my
know-
favorite is in the beginning they go, well, at the end of the show, stay tuned. You know, like don't click off.
If
We gotta
if
give
you
the
can-
big reveal at the end. Chris
If
is
you-
gonna tell us the new product. You know, like come on, bro. I mean, I know your watch time's got to come up to get monetized, but I mean, give me a break here.
right. If YouTube
got
could like charge me to not have to hear that, I would pay that money. You know what I'm saying? I'll give
Dude,
you some money to like cut all of those out.
I'm $20 a month, so I don't have to watch the marketing and stuff. It
Yeah, I
should be
just
like
don't- I don't wanna hear
25.
I don't want
not
to
to hear like, comment, and subscribe.
You know, I'll pay $10 a month to cut that out.
Oh my god, that's funny, dude. That's good stuff.
All right, so one last item for efficiency, Eric. Let's switch gears.
Efficiency,
All right.
you know. I would not.
Efficiency.
For me, I wouldn't work and drink. It cuts your efficiency like way down. What you got? What you got, Eric? Like when a customer's like, "Oh, I know it's late. It's 8 o'clock. Take this Grey Goose, this cup full of Grey Goose." Not a good idea. Don't do it. You're like, what did I do with my tools, man? Not good. I strongly do not recommend it.
I mean, designed for put in the smallest piece of equipment and designed for good static pressure for good efficiency.
Big
There you go.
filter, and use curved blade grills. Don't
Not
get that
necessarily.
cheap- Nah, whatever. I'm just gonna throw. all
Look, if
stamp
you want,
face grills
if you
go
want
out
a
the
lower,
window.
if you need a stamp face throw and pattern, just put in something bigger. If you want lower static pressure,
All right, sell me on stamp face. Like, hey, that's a good idea. Go get some stamp faces.
you got to look at the throw and the spread.
All right. If you've got the static and you have really short ceilings and you're going to do top mounts,
Right.
ceiling mounts, use them based on price. There you go. I sold
Yeah,
you on stamp
price.
face.
Yeah,
Sell. That's what I said. Sell me on them.
there you go.
Yeah.
It's cheap, cheap,
All right.
cheap.
Here's something I was thinking about yesterday. I just want to throw it out there in case anybody wants. This is one of those Chris's. If you want to make some money, right? Here's my idea. Seriously, no, I'm telling you. Like, take the idea, run with it. I don't care who runs with it. Run with it. Go make your money. But there needs to be a tape, or almost like a roll of dum-dum tape, that is made for boxes when they go into the sheetrock. So instead of having to get up there and caulk the boxes in, which is messy and you just don't want to get it everywhere, imagine just the right tape that you could just run around the box that sticks to the
Like a
box.
plumber's putty?
Almost like a plumber's putty, but made to a tape that sticks to the box and sticks to the under like lip of the sheetrock.
Right?
You just run it around the box and it's really clean and it's airtight and no caulk.
You do realize they sell gasketed boxes with like a rubber sticky stuff on there that does that.
Have you
Already
seen
Yeah.
those?
attached to the box.
But that's, I just don't think it's good enough. You know what I mean?
I'm with him. I've seen them, and I'm like, I'm excited, but
Right.
now I'm not too excited about it.
Then put some mastic around that sucker.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, man. I
Pookie,
think,
baby.
I think there could be a roll of tape for this. There needs to be a roll of tape
Just
to
use
seal the box to the sheetrock. I'm just saying. It's
Okay,
a good
let
idea.
me ask you this.
Cooley. Let's
Let-
go.
Let me ask you this. Stretchy tape, non-stretchy tape.
Stretchy.
I don't know if it would be. That's a damn good question. I think non-stretchy.
I would disagree with you on that.
Stretchy.
Because if you're gonna do that, you want stretchy so that you can form it around the corner.
Yeah, you get that.
Well,
Because remember, you got a flat sea surface, and then you've got a box up here with corners and stuff in it and whatnot.
Yeah, right?
So
Yeah.
why don't you just go get some window flashing tape and try that?
Yes, the window flat. That's what I got. I got so it stretches really good. What the heck is it called?
I mean, that
Use it-
stuff clearly
the
will
the
stick
green
to wood,
panels.
so it should stick to the back of
Right.
drywall. It should stick to metal. You know, as long as you wipe the metal down, you got to get the oil off the metal so it'll stick.
You know
to
who's
it.
talking about that? Neil Comparetto. I don't know what
So-
happened to him. He's not online no more. Window flashing tape.
Yeah.
And I got it. It was expensive.
Yep.
It's Zip.
Zip tape. There
Zip
you go.
system.
There you go. But it's
Zip
stretchy.
system. Dude, it is amazing. It's expensive, but
So
like Eric said, it goes really stretches well. I like using for air handlers around because these Jamokes around here, they like to leave the little gaskets for the suction line and the liquid line. They just they're in a packet and they go, oh, look at that, and they just throw it out, right? So I go to a job and they stick the Armorflex into the air handler. Like, oh, that's good. It sealed it up. So I use this tape and it's real stretchy, real nice.
Does
I'm
it
on
work?
a tangent.
Does it work good for that?
It works pretty good for it. Yeah. Yep.
Sweet. Well,
Yeah,
then
man.
I think that would probably work really good for sealing register boots down to ceilings, if I had to guess.
yeah,
I'm liking
All
it's
right, guys.
expensive though.
guys.
What if it's good? It's cheap.
It's got a good point. He's got a lot of good points tonight. I don't know. He cuts the lawn and he's just good point McGee over here. This guy. I don't know.
Rick said they keep the duck film on box after duck seal test. Then cut
Rick
when installing
Sims?
grill.
Like,
No,
No, Rick.
Hold on now.
my
Rick
buddy
finally
Rick
jumped?
from
Okay.
from,
No.
from
Oh,
Hammond. Here.
Rick.
Bing
Okay.
Bennett.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr. Rick.
I can never
In the
get
house.
Sims up in a chat. He's always
I think he's been in.
traveling
He's
around
been
the
in.
world. Yeah, he's been in. Okay.
All right, so that's all the efficiency talk I got, and we
This was
are
a very
down to
efficient,
1
this
minute.
was a very efficient show tonight. I want to
Very
say.
efficient show. All right, let's break out the bad news. You ready?
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off. All right, Eric, you go first.
What the All right, so after tonight, I am going to step back a little ways from the show because I've got so much going on in my life right now that it's affecting a couple other things in my life. So I'm going to go ahead and step back from this for a little while. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, these two guys are great to hang out with, all of our fans and listeners and everything out there, lots of fun, but sometimes life gets busy and I keep running onto things and it's like, oh, nope, can't do that. Too busy to do that. I'm doing a live stream. So had to make a tough decision. I've been thinking about it for a little while and told these two guys tonight. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to.
At 5 o'clock, by the way.
For a little while. Hey, I'll let you know, it was better than 2 minutes before the show, wasn't it?
Yes, better. I've kind of been in the same boat. One thing that I would say that you don't quite see on this show is there's tons of times where like I have to hold back because I can't say certain things, and it's a little weird. And it's like I just want to divulge, but I can't. But there's quite a bit of content that I really want to focus on for TEC. So on my side, I'm glad we're kind of taking a break. I need to go handle up. There's some things I want to kind of continue and get done too. I will add to that. I want to learn how to play the piano, and these evenings would be good for that.
And apparently you need to learn how to play Stamp Face Grills.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm up to.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, this is potentially the last show.
Possibly the last
HVAC
show.
We're going to take a little break for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I need time to work on this whole, I don't know, what is it? Blower motor, airflow grill. We're going to make a new instrument, right?
Yeah.
We're going to put another band together.
But no, it has been a blast, but it's time for a break for sure.
Yep.
But we
Break
appreciate
time.
everybody who has showed up, the comments. We're not going to take down the channel. There's tons of killer good content. So
Yep.
we're going to let it live. Yep.
The
So
live shows need a little.
still we can't end at 65.
Well, stay tuned.
Well,
Stay
you
tuned.
retire. We could say we're retiring. That's
We could.
65 shows, man. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
65 is a perfect retirement age.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've reached our retirement age. All right. Until another day.